What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Rich. Real Talk with Rich is back in the building one more again. And sorry for the delay. It's my fault, you know what I'm saying? So um, we always got some shenanigans going on over here at my house. So, but yeah, good to be here. Good to be here. Good to be here. Hey, want to shout out to Black Comic Lords, Black Superheroes Forever fam. Want to say what's going on, everybody. Hope everybody's had a wonderful weekend, and this is Sunday, so it's the first day of the week. So I'm hoping that your Sunday has been amazing. And so, with that said, you know what I'm saying, I'm just going to ask everybody that comes in to please like, share, and subscribe. Tell a friend, tell a hater. We got. And y'all might as well go and tell somebody that we live tonight. We're going to get into it a little bit tonight. So we're going to, get in and out like a rabbit. We ain't hanging around for a whole lot of shenanigans or whatever. There's a lot of stuff been going on. And so I'm just going to hit on a few topics, and I'm going to get out the street and I'm going to let y'all have it. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is. So also just want to ask that you would, please, 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 if you're feeling a little generous, hit us with a super chat. You know what I'm saying? The whole squad will appreciate this. You know what I'm saying? There's a whole lot going on that takes this thing we call Black Comic Lords YouTube channel to work. You know what I'm saying? I want to shout out to all the people that's watching us, whether it's on Twitch, on YouTube. You know what I'm saying? I want to just shout out the whole Black Comic Lords, Black Superheroes Forever fam on Facebook. Glad you guys are with us on tonight. Before I get into shenanigans, I want to try to do something on my computer, so y'all give me a minute. So I hope everything was well. Last week we didn't do a show. You know what I'm saying? Why didn't we do a show? Oh, it was Super Bowl. Or was it? I can't remember. It's been so long. I don't know. Either way, congratulations to the Seattle Seahawks for, disappointing the New England Patriot fans. You know what I'm saying? I was here for the shenanigans. So not the best Super Bowl in terms of the football game itself, but I did enjoy the halftime show. I thought Bad Bunny was dope. And shout out to all 4 or 5 of y'all that went out and decided to go watch the Turning Point USA alternative show with, Baby Pebble. They call him Kid Rock, but I call him Baby Pebble because he's whack. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, Bad Bunny was dope. You didn't understand nothing he said, but I dug the vibe, and I thought that showing different culture, you know what I'm saying, is cool. You know what I'm saying? I think some people were upset that he was speaking or singing in Spanish or whatever, and so I'm like, you know what? Let me just leave that alone. I'll just simply say this, that anytime you find yourself aligning with white supremacists, with people who don't like you or bigots or whatever, that's not a good deal. It's better for you just not to say nothing. I'm gonna give you that advice for free. Sometimes some of y'all just need to shut up. And life will be so much better if you just leave certain things alone and just enjoy. Try to enjoy. You know what I'm saying? I saw some people who's, when they gonna give Chris Brown a shot, you know what I'm saying? And either way, if they do, great. If they don't, whatever. I don't think Chris is losing any sleep over not doing the Super Bowl. So, yeah, Baby Pebble. So anyway, want to shout out to everybody that's joining us on tonight. Kevin Piss, what's good with you? Thank you for coming. Mr. Akibulan, what's good with you? A4 Amazing. Shout out to our homegirl Angel. She in the building, you know what I'm saying? So who else we got in here on tonight? Let me just hit the chat because I just been Moan, what's good with you? What's good with you? Good to see you, man. Expensive Paper says, big salute to the BCL fam. What's going on? Jay Carter. Appreciate y'all being here on tonight. So, man, look. First of all, shout out to all of y'all that went out and spent all that money on, Valentine's Day. Shout out to all the lovers in the building. I hope you got your love on. and all that good stuff. But hey, I mean, what I'm saying, Valentine's Day is what can you say? Another corporate holiday to take money out the black man's pocket. That's right, I said it. Some more of this European nonsense. But let me give you guys a story. Okay, now, I don't know if y'all know, there are a couple of stories about the origin of Valentine's Day. I'm going to share with you one such story. I'm gonna give y'all this for free. So back in the day, there was a priest named Valentine, right? And he was a guy who was basically secretly marrying soldiers. The king of this particular land, whatever, I'm not going to get into the whole names and all that, because you can kind of Google that for yourself if you want. But anyway, Valentine was secretly marrying these soldiers, and this king believed that his soldiers were stronger if they were not married, right? So he was doing this. The king finds out he was doing this. He calls him to the court and says, Valentine, my man, what are you doing? You're not supposed to do this. And he tells him, oh, okay, I'll stop. I won't do it. I won't do it no more. I won't do it no more. Well, Valentine kept believing that he was doing the right thing. So he kept marrying soldiers secretly. So the king had enough and said, you know what? All right, Valentine, off with your head. So he kills the guy. The king kills Valentine. And not only does he kill him, he cuts out his heart. He cuts out his heart. That's where the expression, eat your heart out, comes from. And so what he does, the king also does, he kills the soldiers and he cuts out their hearts and sends the hearts to all the spouses. Happy Valentine's Day. Yeah. So anyway, I hope I didn't ruin Valentine's Day for all of y'all out there. Some of y'all went out and bought candy. Some of y'all went out and bought flowers. Some of y'all went and spent a bunch of money on dinners. I'm not mad at you, but I just thought you should know where such a holiday comes from. But anyway, you would be amazed at all of the nursery rhymes and stories, how the dark side of some of this stuff is. It's amazing what we allow our children to consume, because if you knew some of the darker stories that are connected, we're talking about things like Alice in Wonderland, Hansel and Gretel, all that stuff is dark. They call us, I ain't buying a doggone. And of course, it is, February 15th, side piece day. You know what I'm saying? You get your Valentine candy for 50% off. Y'all have at it. No, don't do that. Listen. Don't do that. If you're married, stay married. Stay faithful. Stay true. That's my word. Okay? Stay true. But, shout out to all of y'all that went out and got that half price candy. Yeah. So A for Maine says the original Grimm takes are my favorite. Yes. I tell you, I mean, some of the stuff, I'm telling you, if you do some research, it'll blow your mind. You'll be saying to yourself, why did I let my child read these stories? Why did I read these nursery rhymes and these stories to my kids? Why did I let them people at that school teach my kid all about this kind of stuff? Jack and Jill went up the hill. Jack and the Beanstalk, all that stuff, bro. I promise you. It's it's a little dark. But anyway, that's enough of that shenanigans. So but we're here, and it is Black History Month. Shout out to everybody. Happy Black History Month. You know what I'm saying? I know a lot of people say we celebrate Black History 365 days, and we do. But since this is a month that the world, acknowledges Black History Month, not the whole world, but the melanated people of the world. I want to shout out to one particular creator who just had a birthday on yesterday. Happy birthday to Oliver Wendell Harrington, okay, or Ollie Harrington. This is a guy who did a lot of work back in the day, and I'm gonna just read you something quickly from an article about Oliver Harrington. In cartooning, his Fort Lee Wright racist sixth grade teacher, Oliver Harrington, found a practical way of coping with disturbing situations at a very early stage in his life. His ability to not only become his valve, but a method to analyze the madness African Americans had to face every day under the harsh race politics of the U.S. government. Concurrent to Harrington's eagerness to challenge stereotypes, depictions of African Americans, he understood how to unveil and criticize political mechanisms and their subtext. With the support of the Negro weeklies, Harrington found a space to evolve his skills, devoid of fear from white censorship. It's important to always have your own. When you have your own, you can talk how you want, you can do what you want. Bars. He also gained great acceptance among Black readership because not only he illustrated the malfunctioning political system, but he knew how to situate the Black experience within it. Already a trenchant political critic then, he became the first internationally well-known African-American cartoonist in 1935, or 1936, some sources say, when he originated the character Brother Bootsy in his Dark Laughter cartoon series for the New York Amsterdam News. While Brother Bootsy was an explicit protest against Jim Crow racism, Harrington's cartoons more generally created a space to visualize the mundane struggles of African Americans during the Great Depression. So this is a cartoonist who did a lot of work and was able to capture Black life, or African American life, during the Depression era. And he did it so cleverly that, because here's the thing, the way we were depicted back in the day was not very, very good. And so cartoonists like Harrington had to find ways to express themselves and speak truth to power. And this is what one such brother did. So if you go on the internet and you Google Dark Laughter or Oliver Harrington, you will be able to find some of his work. Some of it is expensive, some of it is not so. Either way, it'll make a great addition to your collection. But shout out to the king, Oliver Wellington Harrington, who was born February 14, 1912, and he passed away on November 2nd, 1995. So he lived long enough to see not only, his work to be appreciated, but also the advent of milestone and the Black Renaissance in the 90s when it came to comics. So shout out to the OG, Oliver Harrington, a Black history legend. Bo Big hits us off tonight with a super chat. It's a good evening. What up, Rich? All good. Thank you, sir, for the super chat. Let's go, Derek. Yep. Thanks again, Bo Big. So let's go on and get into the shenanigans that is low-hanging fruit. Low-hanging fruit, that's a segment of our show where we talk about the news and things of that nature. We only got a couple of articles to talk about, but we're going to have some conversation about one particular article. But before we get to that article, not that one, Derek, let's go to the next one. The Bleeding Cool. Let's do Bleeding Cool first. Bleeding Cool, astonishing Miles Morales. Spider-Man goes from web to print in May. This May, Marvel puts astonishing Miles Morales, Spider-Man #1, into print for the first time, collecting the digital Marvel Unlimited series, Astonishing Miles Morales, Spider-Man Infinity Comic, issues 1 through 6, by Cody Ziegler, Alessandro Miracola, and I.G. Guerrera, to follow the end of Cody Ziegler's run on the ongoing print titles. So, in essence, this is a series that Cody Ziegler was doing online for Marvel Unlimited. So they're going to put this in print. So for all the Miles Morales fans who were, saddened or, irritated that they ended the series Miles Morales Spider-Man at issue 42, you're going to get a couple of more issues of Miles Morales, 6 in particular, written by Cody Ziegler. That was basically a web series. So you'll get a chance to get this in your collections. You know what I'm saying? I don't have a subscription to Marvel Unlimited, so I never knew about this particular series. But clearly it's a series that Cody Ziegler did. And according to this, Cody Ziegler says himself, he says, one thing I really enjoyed about the possibilities of Astonishing Miles Morales Spider-Man is that it let us explore parts of Miles that I didn't have room to cover in the main book. Mostly his school life, his family life, things I really enjoy writing, but because of the nature of the beast, I wasn't able to dive into them fully as I would have liked. Ziegler told Marvel.com when Affinity Comic debuted. It's nice to be able to check in on Miles' school life and personal life and fill out the areas I thought were lacking in the main book. And also, there will be new covers by Torrin Clark and Paco Medina available as well. So you guys are going to get some bonus material. You know what I'm saying? You're going to get a little shum, you know what I'm saying? So I'm looking forward to this. I'm going to pick this up because I did definitely enjoy Ziegler's run on Miles Morales. So yeah, I dig that he had some background stuff that he wanted to cover in the main book, but wasn't able to because he was always having to deal with Marvel events. Yeah, Marvel, talking to you. Always crossovers and all that. Yeah, Marvel, I'm talking to you. But anyway, I'm so happy that we'll get the chance to get some of this in print, you know, from the web series. And hope maybe perhaps we'll get some more stuff, because that's the thing about Marvel Limited or whatever. They have series that never go to print that you can just collect digitally or whatever. And I'm not a fan of digital. I'm a collector. I want the book in my hand so I can read it. You know, it is what it is. I'm an old head. I ain't gonna change, you know. Give me the book. If I can get the book or the trade, just let me have that, okay? So that's what's up. JT, what's good with you? He applauds that news. So, yo, let's go on and get into the shenanigans of the CB article. Shout out to Marvel. The X-Men Storm is about to meet the daughter she didn't think she would ever get a chance to have. So, as the Shadows of Tomorrow comes to a close, Marvel Comics is preparing to send the X-Men hurtling into their next explosive era. Among the mutant heroes who are slated for major shakeups in the months to come is Aurora Monroe, better known as Storm, who was about to meet the daughter she wasn't sure she would have actually have. With the release of Storm, Earth's Mightiest Mutant #4 in May, the young Fuhura will finally be making a proper Marvel Comics debut. The character was first glimpsed in 2025's X-Men Hellfire Vigil #1, which gave readers and Storm herself a brief glimpse into the budding mutant powerhouse. And although the identity of Fuhura's father was not specifically stated, fans believe that they can point to none other than Wolverine in that regard. During her brief appearance in X-Men Hellfire Vigil #1, Fuhura explains that she inherited both her parents' mutant powers as well as her father's fangs and black hair. All of this together, coupled with Logan and Storm's previous romantic interest in one another, seems to indicate that Wolverine is indeed Fuhura's father, though there is plenty ground to cover before the truth is revealed. Storm's Earth's Mightiest Mutant #4 goes on sale on May the 6th. Well. What's going on, Amir? I see you smoking comic nerd in the building. So, man, when this article dropped, the Storm fans, some of y'all lost y'all mind and y'all went in. It was like Storm issue #3 all over again. Now, I Marvel is the undisputed heavyweight champion of trolling. They are who they are. Who this child's daddy is, I don't know. And I'm going to be honest, I don't care. because I'm not going to lose my mind over a company that continues to do crazy things with their black characters. It is what it is. And so while I hope that the Storm fans are not disappointed, I am not going to lose my ever-loving mind over this. You know, a lot of people are going in on Marewa Ayudele, who's writing the book. And all I'm going to say is y'all stay tuned. Y'all stay tuned. Y'all might be surprised. It might be somebody y'all ain't expecting. But if it is, oh boy, if it is the short Canadian with the claws and fangs, are y'all done with Storm or y'all going to keep rolling? Because you know, it is what it is, y'all, at this point. You know what I'm saying? And while I think that Marewa Ayodele has written a good Storm run, and for the most part, I would say that Storm has been, you know, very, very solid. I have not read the Rogue Storm books or whatever. I have them, but I just haven't had time to really read those or whatever. But I did pick up issue 1 of Storm's Earth's Mightiest Mutant, and I enjoyed it. You know, it was cool. But, you know what I'm saying? It's just kind of like, Marvel, y'all be doing too much. But hopefully, it's just smoke and mirrors, and nobody will be disappointed come May the 6th. Paul says, I'm still in silent on the issue till it drops. Look, if if it happens to be who some people think it is, I'm just not looking forward to another trauma bonding session, whether it's here on our YouTube channel or any other channels. Shout out to all you Storm fans. Y'all hold on. That's all I'm going to say. Now, Hershey says, what if black people went this hard for real black women as hard as they go for make-believe Storm? Well, I will just simply say this, that's a personal conviction that every person has to have. Everybody's not going to do what they should or be as stand-up as that. You know what I'm saying? I'm not really, you know, policing somebody's thought process as to why they do certain things or believe certain things. That's really on them. I have to be accountable to myself. As much as I might see the buffoonery and the clown stuff or whatever, I just kind of like, you know what, I can't. I have to keep myself together. So, you know, it's a good question. It's a good question, Herschel. But, you know, again, it's all relative. You know what I'm saying? Now, when it comes to these characters, you know what I'm saying, they represent certain things, whatever. And Storm is dope. You know what I'm saying? And but everything is based on who's writing Storm. And you know, again, it's one of those things where if a writer decides to write something that is not or puts Storm in a considerable light or perspective, then it's up to the reader to receive that in the way they think they should receive it. I know that we sometimes, to be honest with you, can be sensitive, and I'm be honest, you know, white supremacy, racism, that can make you paranoid. It is what it is. So I just think that we all have to like check the guy in the mirror, you know what I'm saying, when it comes to those kind of things. Ray says it's most likely her daughter from an alternative timeline, future timeline, so it's no big deal. Well, I mean, to me, if it's in the main continuity or whatever, or alternate timeline, it's still not a big. These are comic book characters. These are comic book characters. At the end of the day, these are comic book characters. We don't own these IPs. These are comic book characters. characters. Now, we want these companies to do right by these characters. But again, if it's my ball, you can suggest how I bounce the ball, but at the end of the day, it's my ball. So yeah. Mr. Cubulon says we're going to make our indies better than Storm, Nubians, and Vixen. We need some good anthropologists, psychologists, and get those thought-provoking books we want. The thing is, Mr. Cubulon, we have those thought processes and those people in this space already. I say it all the time that whatever the Black comic book community is looking for or needs, it's in the space. People don't put a lot of attention on Afrofuturism or, novelists. You know what I'm saying? A lot of the stuff that people really want, they can get in novels. The comic book space is a little different. It's just a little different, but there's lots of material out there and characters out there that everybody can kind of glean to. Are they ever going to be as big as, say, Marvel Comics and DC Comics? I don't know. I'll probably be worm food by the time that happens, to be honest with you. But we got people out here. So, yeah. Shout out to my man Amir. He says, there's been a lot of clown stuff in these comic book content streets. Shout out to BCL for staying focused. We try. We try. Rat7 says, Wraith, I'm sorry. My problem with the whole concept of Storm and Wolverine having a kid is that it's another redundant Wolverine derivative. Well, it is what it is. I mean, there's nothing new under the sun. These guys have not created anything, I would say, groundbreaking or new. They're recycling stories and that kind of thing. It's kind of interesting, too. Tonight, well, not tonight, but earlier today, where is it? I stuck it somewhere. Huh. Where did I put it? I've just finished reading. You know what? It's not in front of me, but I was just finished reading an X-Men story. When we go to commercial break, I'll go get it because I know where I left it. But I just finished reading some Storm and T'Challa stuff earlier today, and it's kind of like, I'm glad to have what we already got. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm gonna be honest, a lot of comic book heads know their stuff, they've mined it out, but a lot of comic book heads have not. A lot of the times, the representation, the stories that we want to see, they've already done them. You just got to find them. They want people to do what they want now. It's just kind of like the comic book head that shows up out of nowhere, and all of a sudden he wants to read Black content or whatever, and he gets on the internet and says there's nothing for us to read or whatever, and all we look at him with the side eye and saying, well, you know what I'm saying, if you've been here, you would already know that that's not true. Black comic laws, this is our special. This is what we do. I can tell you some stuff that I can share with some stuff with you, you know what I'm saying, or what you can go read, that kind of thing. So, yeah. Now, Mr. Kibelon says, rich, not enough. Well, I mean, when is enough enough? I don't think there will be enough, to be honest. But, you know what I'm saying, comics are one thing, you know what I'm saying. As somebody who is a reader, period, I don't just read comic books. I read novels. I read history books. I read theology books. I read a little bit of everything. My day is filled with pages and books and pictures and that kind of thing. So myself personally, I don't really clamor or starve for anything because I'm always reading different things. But you're right, you know what I'm saying. There could be some more material that we could get, you know what I'm saying. But where we get that from, there's Black creators that's doing stuff, you know what I'm saying. The question is, are we willing to put our money where our mouth is? Are we willing to support these guys that are doing that? Are we willing to, you know what I'm saying, spend a little extra bread to get the books from independent creators or whatever who are telling stories that I think sometimes we forget, are compelling. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's Ace Blade, whether it's, is Nana the Weird Spider? There's lots of stuff out here, guys. You know what I'm saying? Is it Marvel and DC stuff? No, it's not supposed to be. It's designed not to be. We just got to look for it. So he says, Rich, why don't we have another physicist working with Milestone? Blacks in physics would do numbers with Milestone. Trained in theater. The indies need more sponsorship and collabs. Well, Mr. Kibelon, Dwayne McDuffie. Shout out to the king. Rest in power. Dwayne McDuffie was a bona fide genius. His writing reflected his understanding of science and physics. Will we ever get that again? I don't know. If you go back and you read some of the Shadow Cabinet, Icon, hardware stuff, it was amazing. I'm just, I wrestle and struggle with what Milestone is today. And I don't apologize for that. Because again, when you've gotten something that's Kobe steak, right? And now there is no more Kobe steak. While I won't call it Salisbury or a TV dinner, it is clearly not the same. I'm hoping that the book that Joe Illich is writing, the DC Universe, Dakota Incident, issue #1, I hope it does well. But Dwayne McDuffie, that is my all-time favorite comic book writer. I miss that dude. I always loved his writing. And we haven't had that since. Now, you have people that are able to write science fiction, things of that nature, and they do their best, you know what I'm saying? But Dwayne Duffy was a genius. He was proficient. He was he was that guy that knows that stuff that you're talking about, Mr. Kibelon. I get it. I understand it. Will we ever get that again? I don't know. I just don't know. Shout out to my man Kenneth Bridgewater with the super chat. Says Dwayne was ahead of his time more ways than one. Ray said,
donation. It's a donation. I thought it was the trash. Don't be hitting on me.
Thank you.
Appreciate that, Kenneth. Good to see you, man. Glad you're back with us. And Ray hits us with a super chat. He says, if you're looking for a superhero book with new original Black heroes co-created by a Black artist, I recommend The Center Holds. Well, that's what's up. Y'all go get that. He put it out there for you. Now, Nine Meme says, I wonder if giving Storm a child with Wolverine is a permanent way to stop another writer from pairing her with Black Panther. P.S. I buy majority of independent comics. Look, if we have not figured out that they're trying to keep T'Challa and Storm away from each other, and they have no interest in putting them together. If we have, as a collective, have not figured that out, that is probably never ever going to happen again, then we are literally deluding ourselves. They have no interest. They have zero interest in bringing them two together again. Shout out to my man who wrote the stories, and whether it was Eric Jerome Dickey or Reginald Hudlin, and the Marvel brass that was around for those, that time frame, because they did some amazing stuff, but they also broke them up. So I don't want to lament on that too much. You know what I'm saying? I will say this: you got your back issues. If you don't like what you're seeing, go do the back issue boogie, man. Go get some of that old stuff and reread it. You know what I'm saying? It's one of the things I love about Dwayne McDuffie, whatever. I can go and read reread his stuff and not get tired of it because it was just so well done. So yeah. So anyway, look, we're gonna take a commercial break, and when I come back, we're gonna get into Down the Rabbit Hole, and we're gonna talk about blood spatter within the echo chatter, and I'll explain what that means and what we can do to fix it if we can. Be right back.
Where's our black real estate in comics? What do I mean? Let's check out Black Panther. He is gone from the MCU for reasons. And what is happening in the comics? We can complain all day about how our champion is being treated, but we don't own that character. Look at Milestone character, curated by one of the greats, Dwayne McDuffie, my guy. But we don't really own or control any of his characters. DC does. So I'll ask again, where is our black real estate in comics? Meet Delta Dogs from Millennial Comics, created and controlled by us, where story sits in the forefront. Delta Dogs is more than just black characters being black for the sake of being black. This story is about 7 cousins that gets into an encounter with a mysterious glowing stranger that changes their lives forever. And with their unique abilities, this family may be the one thing that can save their hood that's being ruled over by a vicious super gang. With an ex-criminal as their leader and other superheroes that looks the other way when it comes to their environment, this will be an impossible mission to pull off. Grab these books in our hardcover Ultimate Edition bundle at millennialcomic.com so we can really have some skin in the game when it comes to the comic book industry. Keep doing y'all thing, Black Comic Lords. Peace.
What's up, everybody? It's your boy Danny J. Quick here with Ace Blade Comics. We got 6 issues of Ace Blade, 1 through 6. The 7th one is now live on Kickstarter. We could definitely use your support. We also have titles like Scarlet Ranger 1 and 2, created by Ro Lamb. We got Harlem's Renaissance and The Ballad of the Black Rose. And we got Lumberjacks 1, 2, and 3, which is about an Ethiopian prince who is displaced. And he has this necklace that gives him superpowers that he inherited from his grandfather. But he has to go through several trials to unlock the powers and abilities. So definitely check us out. You can find us at Fourth Wall Productions, fourthwallpros.com. And like I said, on Kickstarter right now. So I appreciate y'all, Black Comic Boys. Thank you for the support. And thanks for doing the right thing for the community.
We back. Shout out to my man. I gotta reach out. Shout out to my man Vinell Young, Delta Dogs. I gotta get my man. We gotta get him on the show and talk about Delta Dogs, what's going on with him. So yeah. But anyway, we're coming to a point of our show, Down the Rabbit Hole. This is a segment of our show where we kind of get a little deep, and we might, move some furniture while we at it. But either way, you know what I'm saying? We just put a little thought into what's going on with the community, what's going on with these characters, what's going on with these books. But tonight we're going to talk community. And so, but I was thinking about what's been going on lately, and I begin to think about the Black comic book community as an echo chamber. And so you might ask yourself, well, what is an echo chamber? An echo chamber is an environment in which a person encounters only beliefs and opinions that coincide with their own. Means that you just in a bubble with a bunch of people that just think the way you think. And, everybody's kind of the same. So that their existing views are reinforced and alternatives are not considered. So here we are. And, you know, we hear this story all the time that Black people are not a monolith. And that is the truth. But I don't necessarily know if we like that or not. I don't know if the Black community likes the fact that we're not a monolith. I think the Black community likes diversity of thought and opinion, but sometimes I don't think we do. And, you know, it makes for weird conversations and weird situations. You know, we all know that Black comic heads are not the same. We don't collect the same. We don't buy the same. It is what it is. It is what it is, y'all. And we don't look at everything the same. And, you know, it's okay. It is perfectly fine that you don't think the same way I think. But where we differ, we got to learn how to agree to disagree. And it's okay. Nobody has to think the same or feel the same about every situation. I joke and talk facetiously about being Black pill when it comes to this kind of stuff, talking about comics. I don't take none of this stuff serious. I have a made up mind that this is what they're going to do. And I can cuss, I can scream, I can yell till this vein in the middle of my forehead pops out. And it will not move Marvel or DC to do anything that I want them to do. So I just relax and just chill and just not let this stuff bother me. They want Storm to have a baby with Wolverine? Okay. They don't want to give us a Black Panther run? Okay. They don't want us to do this, that, the third? Okay. Now we're doing this with each other sometimes. There was some stuff that went on this week, and I'm not going to get into the naming creators and that kind of thing and that kind of, because I'm not here for that. I'm not here for that. I don't, you know, I'm not picking a side. I'm not this, that, and the third. I just learned, listen, I stay away from Twitter. Twitter's the devil. Twitter is the devil. If you're looking for a picture of the definition of a devil, go to your dictionary and turn the page to devil, and you'll see that little bird, Twitter, whatever you want to call it, X, whatever. That's the devil. because the devil always traffics in chaos and traffics in confusion. And so, you know, and I'm going to be honest, you know who's running to try to catch up with Twitter is Threads. I don't like Threads. Threads to me is a social media space that is for people who like to be that's the snarky smart ass type people that be on Threads. They say stuff and it'd be like, where you get that from? And Twitter's no different, but I don't really traffic on Twitter. I do from time to time hang out in Threads. And I don't post a lot in Threads, and I don't, you know, do a lot of interaction on social media. You know what I'm saying? I do it in my groups. I might post something on my personal YouTube page or whatever, some scripture, something like that. But I don't get into the shenanigans of what people got going on in their lives. I don't do that. I don't do that. That's just me. You know what I'm saying? I'm not telling nobody not to do that. I just don't roll like that because of the problems it can bring and what people do with the internet. You know what I'm saying? And it's weird because I'm watching people go back and forth with one another and no real resolution or no resolve comes about. You know what I'm saying? It's just two people or people just in general interacting. And here's the thing about Black comic laws. Black comic Lois has had its share of drama in the past with certain people. It is what it is. I don't, and the thing about that is that it'd be stuff on Twitter, it'd be stuff on YouTube, it'd be, it is what it is. I honestly don't care. And the reason why I don't care is because if you put so much energy into what people think of you, then they have done their job. You know what I'm saying? Trolls are trolls for a reason, and people like to troll, and people like to stir up certain things. And I'm not saying, and here's the thing about the content game. It's about content. If I can be controversial, if I can be divisive, if I can be, even if I'm telling the truth, sometimes the truth is divisive. Sometimes the quote unquote right way is, wrong. And what I mean by that is that everybody has a perspective, an opinion, or whatever, and they want to express themselves, and if people get clicks and likes behind it, great. You know what I'm saying? People like people want to go viral. They look for a viral moment, and that's get it. You know what I'm saying? And some people, are able to do well with that kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? But that's trafficking certain things, negativity or whatever, or trafficking certain perspectives. And me personally, I get no joy out of that. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like, wow. But I generally, and here's just some free advice. Sometimes it's just better not to say nothing. When somebody says something that's crazy, it's better to just say nothing. Don't tweet it. Don't retweet it. Don't like it. Just let it go. Just let it go. You could be a fireman, or you could be, a pyromaniac. You can add flames to it, or you can pour water on it. You know what I'm saying, and put the fire out. You can do one or two things. But when it gets out of control, it gets out of control. And so when it comes to these echo chambers that we're in, sometimes the people in the echo chamber with you, they rock with you, right? They with you, right? But then you do something, or you say something that is controversial, or something that they don't like. And then all of a sudden you catching strays for it. Sometimes, the Black comic book community has a lot of people in it. It's not the biggest space, but it has enough people in it, has a lot of people in it to where something can go viral, or a post can go on Facebook, and somebody will post something, and, I'll bring up Kickstarters. I'll bring up a Kickstarter, and people are upset that they're not getting their rewards on Kickstarter, and people go in. That's and going in, they could start tagging people and start naming people, and before you know it, that one little post has sprinted into a whole thing that is like, wow. And again, it's the internet. And so me personally, I don't like roasting or getting into it with people, because I'm called to be a man of peace. And even when it comes to these comic books, I don't care, about T'Challa being viewed this way or whatever. I have my own view of T'Challa in my heart in terms of how I see him. And if this writer that lives in Montana writes a story about T'Challa and I don't like it or whatever, I can do one or two things. I can either not buy the book, or I can comment on the book or whatever. I can do a number of things. But what I cannot do is change how I feel about that character in my own personal life. And I don't need to have this therapy session with a whole bunch of people saying how wrong that was, because that's what happens from time to time. We just talked about the situation with Storm and what's going to happen in issue number 4, Storm, Earth's Mightiest Mutant, issue number 4. If that turns out that the daddy is Logan, there's going to be a whole lot of folk that ain't going to be happy. Now, H&H Comics says, Rich, to be fair, though, our Kickstarter that still haven't delivered on the supporters after 3 years. I agree. I agree. And here's the thing about that. I can talk about it, but if I name call, if I call them out publicly, am I making it better? And I'm not saying that you shouldn't. Here's the thing about me. Listen, if you feel like people have wronged you or you've been misled or your funds have been misappropriated and you feel like airing them out, knock yourself out. But just understand what comes with that. That's all I'm saying. A lot of times we react to things, whatever, and we don't consider the gravity of what we do. When you're someone that is an influencer or someone that people look to, your words have weight, and people, whether you know it or not, whether you think that they should or not, listen to you. And it's like, okay, I'm gonna call out this one particular dude, and you know what? Everybody that's following that dude is gonna jump in or whatever. You know what I'm saying? And again, you do what you do. I just know that it doesn't always help the problem. That's all I'm saying. And look, it is what it is. When it comes to things like Kickstarter, there is a risk and reward component that exists. It is what it is. Does everybody do Kickstarter? Are all Kickstarters equally the same? No, they're not. I have supported Kickstarters that have gone off without a hitch. And I have seen Kickstarters that have that have honestly give you the side eye. But at the same time, you know what I'm saying? It's kind of like, okay, it is what it is. You have to go into understanding that there's a risk, a calculated risk. Now, here's the thing about the calculated risk. If the risk is based on how funds or rewards are distributed, they said you're going to have this reward by this date. You're going to have your book by this date, and it doesn't happen. Then that the author of that or the creator is accountable to you, and we should go to that person and try to discuss it in private. But that's just me saying, because if I have an issue, when I shout out to my man Imani. Now, I'll share this, and I hope he doesn't mind me sharing it. But I bought some books from Imani, and I hit my man up recently and said, "Hey, man, what my books at? It's been a minute." And so when he hit me back, he said, "Man, I sent you a book. You should have already gotten it." So he sent me the tracking or whatever, right? Then I said, "Wait a minute. What'd you give me? What'd you send me?" He told me what the books were, right? And sure enough, I'm sitting up there while I'm texting him, talking about it, I'm looking at the books. I'm looking at the books. I'm like, okay, bro, I got the books. My bad, bro. I didn't go, but here's the thing, shout out to my man of mine, he's here. But here's the thing, I could have said, you know what? I could have went on the internet and said, Money is trash. I sent him my money. He didn't send me my books. I could have just aired him out. No, I didn't do that though. I went to my man because I honestly thought I didn't get my books, but I had my books. Now that's on me. I have to be, and that's the other thing too. This thing is twofold. We have to be accountable to one another. If you're going to hold someone accountable, then you must be accountable as well. And that worked out perfectly because I believe in doing, this is me personally, I believe in doing things decent and in order. People don't mind calling people out on the internet. I get better results. Like when I have an issue with eBay or with Macari or anybody that I'm ordering books from or whatever. And if I order a book and I don't get my books, I know there's certain channels, protocol that I have to go to get my money or to get my books. I have to go these ways. I can't run to the internet when I'm mad about something and when I don't like or agree with something. You know what I'm saying? And again, nobody signs up for a bad experience or whatever, but the answer is not always putting people on blast. And it says, nah, I mean, says, to be fair, we don't know what's going on in someone's life. It took 2 years to get Trill League. I was happy with the results. I had faster chaos turnaround right away, and it sucked. Mine says, thanks for not airing me out. No, of course not, bro. I wasn't gonna do that. I don't do that. That's the one thing about me that I don't do. I remember I had a bad experience with a creator shipping my package. I didn't air out that creator. I just simply said, this is why some people in the community don't get support. Because that book came to me, you know, we generally you're supposed to get a book, a floppy in what they call a Gemini shipper. That thing came to me like it was folded up like this. And, you know, I was upset at the time. I didn't air nobody out. I went to the internet though, and I shared my displeasure with what I experienced. People heard about it, and they talked to certain people, and certain people came back and talked to me and said they thought that wasn't right. I didn't air the guy out. I'm like, okay, only a hit dog will holler. I'll say it like that though. If you out here putting books in envelopes and shipping them out and expect UPS, USPS, FedEx, or any of these shipping companies to treat your stuff like it's gonna get there like a 9.8, you're crazy. we got to do better. But I did that though, right? And so I move differently now. And that's the other thing too. If we have an experience where we don't agree with certain things, it's fine. It's fine. I've had situations where, matter of fact, that same situation, I remember there were people on the internet doing videos. One particular creator said that he thought I was being disingenuous. Because as a collector, it shouldn't bother me to get my book if I'm expecting it to be a 9.8 when I get it in near mint condition, a new book, not a used book, not something in the secondary market, but a brand new, fresh out the bag, just got printed book and come to me. It's supposed to be in a 9.8 or near mint condition when I get it. I'm being disingenuous to ask that. So I'm like, wow, okay. If that's how you feel about it, then you don't have to worry about me spending my money on your product. So there's ways to do this. If you're displeased with someone, there's ways to do it. You don't have to air everybody out or whatever. And again, you can do what you want. It's the internet. But I don't know if going about it the right way, you know, because you in the echo chamber, we're supposed to be supporting one another. You gotta be at least willing to see my point of view. You know, I have this thing in ministry. Well, I try to share with people the 6-9 rule. And what I do is I tell people to face each other, right? Just face each other. And on one side, I draw a 6 on one side of the person where they're standing. Now, it's a 6 on this side, but to the person on this other side, it's a 9. Now, if I asked each of them what is on the ground, one person say, oh, that's a 6. Another person say, no, that's not a 6, that's a 9. Because I'm looking at it from this perspective, that's what it is. And we have to be mindful of that. And so even though somebody might be wrong, there's 2 left shoes, we got to at least be respective of that person and how they think and what they do. Because everybody's not a genius. Everybody's not, you know, the sharpest tool in the shed or whatever. You know what I'm saying? People out here getting murked over who they follow. I don't follow a lot of creators. And I'm gonna be honest. My circle and who I follow is generally 98, 99% black. And that's not, I don't like following people of other different groups or whatever, but that's just who I follow on some of these groups or whatever. So I don't have no deep desire to follow certain people because of their certain beliefs or whatever. You know what I'm saying? I'm in an echo chamber. I have enough sense to know where I am. And some people say, well, you know, it does you no good to just be in an echo chamber. And I agree, because we got to learn. But we're supposed to be learning from one another in this echo chamber. And I'm going to tell you something about being in this particular echo chamber. One of the last things that we're doing is learning from one another. And that's kind of bad because that's kind of the point. The point of having a base or a foundation or a squad or a crew or a collective is to learn from one another. Each one teach one, share and care, that kind of thing. That's the whole purpose of it. But oftentimes what happens is people get divisive because they be in their feelings. Manifesto says, I try to think of what I could have done differently from other person's perspective when interacting goes wrong or left. Yeah, we see it all the time on the internet. There was a post in Facebook where a guy was saying that we needed to be more concerned about Black creators, and we need to follow Black IPs, or we need to follow Black owned products, right? He said all of this. And at the end of his post, he said, do better. Now, he literally gave us an essay in the Facebook group about what we should do. But you know what this Bama didn't do? He didn't name one particular IP or creator we should support. He did all of that to tell us how wrong we are to be watching or going after Marvel and DC, and why these characters, Black Panther and Vixen and others, are not the representation that we want. He did all of that just to turn around and not give us what he think we should have. But he tells us to do better, though. So you know what I did? I responded to his post, and it was one of these guys that basically just was drive-by shooter. He didn't come back and respond to anything that nobody said. I just said, thank you. I pointed out to him that he didn't name one IP or one creator that we should follow, right, or support. And I told him, I said, thank you from ascending from your ox-shaped star freighter to let us know to do better. I thank you for that. And it's weird because it's like people tell you all the time, I want to support Black creators or whatever, but they don't ever do that. They don't put their money where their mouth is. And that's one of the frustrating things about being in this particular echo chamber. Because it's kind of like, I know that Black comic lords, some of us in the very beginning of this thing, people said that we didn't support independent creators. We do what we can. Are we all end all be all to people or whatever? No. We human beings got jobs and we got lives. I shout out to you if you got a comic book that you want us to read. If we don't get to you in time, don't crucify us for it. Don't put us on blast and saying that we're not supporting the community or whatever. Come and have a conversation. Don't splatter blood in the echo chamber, because that's what happens. It's weird to me. It's a thankless job. Sometimes I tell these guys I work with, I'm like, you know what? I can go rather do something else than to deal with this. You know what I'm saying? It's just weird. You know what I mean? And again, we just got to learn how to, I would say, help one another. The back and forth with people or whatever, listen, some people are built for it. Some people are built for it. I'm not built for it. I'll be the first to admit that I'm not built for it. I'm not going to go out here and wrestle with you on the internet about how you feel about this particular person or that particular person or this particular creator or that particular creator. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to go back and forth with you. I'm going to do what I can and try to help somebody along the way. You know, and if that ain't enough, I don't know what to tell you. I just don't know what to tell you. And again, I just want us to be mindful of what we do, what we say, and how we say it, and help one another grow. Because again, I think that's the other thing too, because everybody's not in the same, we're in the same space, but we're not in the same degrees, if I can say it like that. I talk about it all the time, where there are collectors who are novices, there are collectors who are seasoned, and then there are collectors that are, savants. Everybody is different. They're in different spaces or whatever. You know, savant collectors, they're not even thinking about the next Storm book unless it's got something significant attached to it. They're not thinking about that. They're thinking about the next Matt Baker that they're trying to catch. They're thinking about the next Eben that they can grab. They're thinking about the next foreign book that they can get. They ain't thinking about is Logan, you know, Storm having a baby. They ain't thinking about that. And if they are thinking about it, they're not thinking about it too much to where they're making that an issue. They got bigger fish to fry. They got bigger things on their mind. They thinking about original art. Shout out to my man, DJ Big Phil, Otis and others, Rico Jones and J. Napoleon Winston. These guys, you know, they go after the big fish. You know what I'm saying? They got, you know, deep pockets. They're not thinking about what we thinking about. And it's something and there's something to be said about that, because when we talk about collecting or whatever, we always tell people to collect what you love. Collect what you love. Now, a lot of times people don't love what's out here to collect. And you gotta be okay with that. Gotta be okay with that. You know what I'm saying? You're not gonna be everybody's cup of tea. And I think a lot of creators understand that, know that, whatever, right? But at the same time, you have to also be someone who is open to try new things. I think one of the things about Black Panther and Storm and Blade and Miles Morales, and the reason why people kind of go so hard for those characters is because you can go to a bookshelf, or you can go to a dollar bin, or you can go to a wall and find those books. Easy. You know what I'm saying? I don't have to send a direct message to this guy or to know somebody that knows somebody to get this particular book that I saw on in Black Comic Lord's Facebook group. It's a little different. It's all about access. Shout out, what's going on? Louisiana Kid says, man, BCL, I'm late. Sorry I'm late, just got off of work. Need to catch the best show on the BCL network. Long live Brother Rich. Appreciate you. Thank you. So anyway, guys, I just want us, you know, to love one another, care about one another. And if we disagree about certain things, that's great. That's fine. We can agree to disagree. But it's no, you know what I'm saying? Because I feel like sometimes we burn bridges and we don't have to. There are some guys that I respect in this YouTube space in general that I would love to like really have conversations with, break bread with. I really would like to, but I don't necessarily know if they care about us. And it's okay, you know what I'm saying? But I'm not going to be looking for every opportunity to blast them, or be at every opportunity to tear them down, or to throw slugs. Not doing that. Not doing that. That's not how I'm built. I'm not looking for clicks and likes. I could care less. You know what I'm saying? There's a dozen channels that are way bigger than us. You know what I'm saying? But I don't think that we're little. Our subscriber count might be little. But our gangster and our heart for this, you'd be hard pressed to find nothing bigger than Black Comic Lords. I'm just saying. So anyway, let's take a break, Derek. When we come back, we're going to get to chat, talk, and then we're going to get out the street. So I do have a question, and we're going to answer that question, or we're going to try to answer that question when I come back. Somebody get Rodney Barnes on the phone. Somebody shout out. I don't know if Angel's still here or not. Somebody get Rodney Barnes on the phone. I got questions. So hopefully we can get some answers after this quick commercial break.
Batman, Shadow of the Bat, number 5, written by Alan Grant and drawn by Norm Breyfogle, is a tragic story. The story surrounds a vigilante called the Black Spider, a man on a mission to destroy peddlers of heroin. Batman attempts to stop him, but he stops Batman in his tracks, not with superpowers or magical feats. He stops Batman simply with the truth. Batman's code of honor, which will not allow him to kill, flies in the face of the death the Black Spider sees. The Black Spider, though, isn't some mysterious character with a noble mission. No, his name is Eric Needham, and he was once a slave to the needle. Eric Needham's mission is personal. His former life has affected his former love and son. And while Batman is trying to stop him from murdering addicts, the Black Spider reminds Batman that we're all addicted to something. This thought haunts Batman because it has a ring of truth to it. Unfortunately, those same addictions can cost all of us our lives and the ones closest to us. If you like this video, please like, share, and subscribe. And until next time, peace.
All right, we back. Chat talk time. But before we get into chat talk, that's what we're going to talk about. Whatever it is y'all want to talk about. I got a question. Now, I was on my CLZ a couple of days ago, and I just happened to type in Philadelphia. And on my CLZ in Philadelphia search engine, the whole Philadelphia run comes up. And I have every issue, not every variant, but I have every issue of Philadelphia, except one. What happened to Philadelphia issue 36? Now, I am putting out the Black Comic Lord signal in the sky, and hopefully Rodney Barnes will be able to see it. Where is issue 36 of Philadelphia? I was having, not a dialogue or whatever, but I happened to hit my producer, shout out to Derek. So I want to kind of have some fun with this tonight, right? And so he texts me this Reddit exchange, right? Now, Reddit is like Wikipedia. Now, if you know anything about academia or whatever, professors don't like Wikipedia. It's even though you can go there and easily get some information about a person or whatever, stuff on Wikipedia can change, right? That's the reason why professors don't like it, because you can literally go in and change stuff on a particular subject or whatever. That's the thing with Wikipedia that's not good. So I'm looking, and supposedly we're going to get Philadelphia issue 36 in a hardcover edition. I'm thinking to myself, as mad as I want to be about it, I can't. I can't be mad about it. I can't be mad about it. Mr. Barnes is writing a couple of stories right now. Crownsville. He's writing a 30 Days and 30 Nights story. People are loving Crownsville and 30 Days and 30 Nights Falling Sun. He's still doing his thing. He's still Mr. Rodney Barnes. He's still the man. He's still the guy. Philadelphia was my favorite book, but I hadn't seen my book in a minute. Now, I'm not sure when Philadelphia issue 36 is coming out because, Philadelphia 35 ended with the last page of Philadelphia 35 was Blackula and the Brides of Blackula. Okay. That's how that series or that cliffhanger ended. That's how that story ended, with the Brides of Blackula. And it's been crickets ever since. Now, it's been crickets for us, but Mr. Barnes has been extremely busy. He had a real popular, or has a real popular podcast called Run Fool. He's been doing writing or whatever. And like I said, he's he's killing it with Crownsville and with 30 Days and 30 Nights. So it's not like he ain't busy. But respectfully, Mr. Barnes, as one of your biggest fans, okay, I needs my issue 36, sir. With all due respect to what you're doing in Crownsville and, 30 Days and 30 Nights, and I know you got something else up your sleeve because you're Rodney Barnes. This is what you do. I needs my issue 36. I ain't playing with you. Angel or anybody that knows Rodney. You know what I'm saying? I need y'all to get my man a message, a smoke signal, a tweet. I don't do Twitter, and I know I could probably direct message you. I just need somebody else to do it because I need my issue 36. I don't know when it's coming out. And I'm upset that it's going to be in a hardcover book because I'm used to paying $3.99 for an issue of Philadelphia. So the fact that it's going to be in a hardback edition means I got to pay a little bit more for the brick. The price of the brick has gone up. Now, I know that it's going to probably be amazing, so I ain't tripping, but I need my issue. Need my issue. I need my issue. Please. Please and thank you. Okay? So anyway, that's all I wanted to say about that. What you guys talking about, what you guys want to talk about before I get up out of here tonight. It's chat talk time. What's on y'all mind? Mr. Keebalon says, when y'all going live again? Well, I mean, the guys, they go live on Wednesday nights. The Wednesday wrap-up show. They do the Wednesday wrap-up show. I don't really do the Wednesday wrap-up shows anymore for a couple of reasons. One, I'm busy. Two, you got like 4 or 5, chat heads to talk to. You know what I'm saying? I don't need to be there. You got DJ Big Phil. You got, Chocolate. You got Angel. You got Paul. And you got Derek. You know what I'm saying? I'm too busy, trying to take over the world. And I can't be here with y'all talking about what Marvel is doing to Storm and what DC won't do with the black characters. I can't be here for that. So you see me when you see me. Usually, like I say, come here Sunday nights, I'm here generally. But yeah. So what else we got, y'all? Let's see what we got. What else on your mind? Mr. Keebalon says, what are the top 5 indie characters that need a redesign and character rewrite? Top 5. I don't know if I can comment on that. And the reason why I'm saying that is because I don't like to tell somebody what to do with their characters. You know what I'm saying? I don't like to this me personally. I don't like to really mess with people's stuff that need to be redone or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Especially if I don't really know the story of these characters, whatever. What I will say is, if I can answer it this way, top what characters are independent characters I would like to see, a redone or a reboot maybe. I'm not sure what's going on at Valiant Comics and Livewire. I would like to see another reboot or another iteration of Livewire as a character. Other characters I'm thinking of. So many independent stuff is new in terms of when we talk about superhero stuff. It's not a whole lot of superhero stuff independently that I can just point to and say, yeah, I want them to redo that or whatever. No. Roosevelt Pitt is doing something, I think, with Purge. I'm not 100% sure on that, but yeah. Mawar says, just purchased Crownville issue 4 and Center Holes. That's what's up. That's what's up. I'm reading this currently. I'll show this to you. I'm reading, shout out to David Walker, The Murder of Bobby Hart. Reading this. I'm almost done with it, about halfway through it. I love David Walker and his writing. So I'm reading this as far as books I'm reading. I'm reading this. I read this earlier today. I was talking about it earlier in the show, but this is a hardcover X-Men Worlds Apart. This actually it's basically it collects X-Men Worlds Apart issues 1 through 4. It's written by Christopher Yost. And it also has the Marvel Team Up issue 100 when Storm first meets T'Challa. And then it has issue Black Panther 26 written by Christopher Priest is in his book too. So this is a very good book to have in terms of story arc. The 1 through 4 Worlds Apart, you know what I'm saying, with T'Challa and Storm. They're fighting the Shadow King. And it's pretty dope. So yeah. You get your hands on that or whatever, or the floppies. Yeah. Ray says, could the BCL crew reach out to Larry Hama and bring him on the show to discuss the center holds working in the series with the late MD Bright? You know what? That's the thing. I think somebody was saying that was the last reported work, supposedly the last work of MD Bright. I did not even go to the shop and look for that. I'm trying to think. Did I go to the shop this week? No, I did not go to the shop this week or this past weekend. But I will have to do that. I mean, I will go and look for that. But as far as us getting them on the show, shout out to my man Paul. Paul handles the bookings and all that good stuff when it comes to that. And I'm pretty sure he's already put a feeler out, so we'll see. Mr. Keevan said that's why organizations like African American Film Critics Association around to provide constructive criticism. Let me tell you something, Mr. Keevan, there are guys on Facebook that do reviews. Shout out to my man Amani. Amani is a part of the group. There's a group, Facebook group called the Secret Society of Comic Book. Amani, if you're still here, can you give me the full name of the group? But Amani is a part of a group of particular. I'm a part of the group as well, but I don't really do the reviews in the group or whatever. But there is a group on Facebook that do constructive criticism, or I would say reviews of independent comic books. And I'm gonna tell you, sometimes people like it, sometimes they don't. I'll say it like that. It's interesting that the work that they do is necessary. To your point, Mr. Kibulon, it's necessary. It really, really is. There's guys doing this work, but they might be considered small or insignificant right now. That it's a space that's growing, but they have reviewed dozens of independent novels or independent comic books or whatever. And I'll say this: sometimes people don't like when you're honest. So, and the thing about it is, all of us there to help the writers or the creators to do better, but some of these guys, they feel a certain type of way when you're saying that your writing is not up to snuff or that kind of thing. It's amazing, I will say. When you're trying to grow the community and you want the skill level to ascend or whatever, right? And the only way it can ascend is when you put standards in that. And so these guys try to hold these creators to a certain standard. And sometimes it can come off as being overly critical, I'll say. There's people out here doing the work. Mr. Cubulon says, my top 5 is Hardware, Cobalt, Hot Shot, Pink Hammer, and maybe The Watchmen. Okay. Cobalt is interesting. Shout out to Milestone. I would like to see another reiteration of Cobalt. I don't even know if Milestone Media is even thinking about Cobalt, to be honest with you. But yeah. Mr. Kibon says, we need that, though. They'll never, ever reach elite status without it. How can they grow if they don't connect with the Black Screenwriters Association Alliance and organization? I don't know. Everything is about networking in this space. And sometimes the disconnect is just not on purpose, or it's not intentional. It's just the right person had met the right person, if that makes any sense. The thing is, you almost have to, like, if I can say it like this, you almost have to pick a struggle. And what I mean by that is you could try to do A, B, and C, but you really need somebody to do D and E. And if no one's there to do D and E is clearly a gap, or, what do you do to address it? And until you either meet the people that's doing that work or have an interest to do that work, because that's the thing about it. And in this space or whatever, there are a lot of people that have a lot of ideas and a lot of, there it is, the Secret Society of Black Comics. Yes, that's it. That's it. Those guys do reviews on independent books, independent Black comic books. It just takes time. It takes time. This space is very, very, I'm not going to say it's in its infancy. It's, Black Comic Lords is like 5 years old. And so to like really mature this organization, this group, and that kind of, it may take another 5 years for us to be kind of like really plugged in. It takes a lot of work. Mr. Kibulon says, Rich, that sounds like a structural consolidation thing with the writers, and they need more development. Hey, they do. They do. That's no secret. Yeah. No, YouTube on what they said. Okay. Eclectic, Blurred, Niche, what's going on? So yeah, it's a lot of work to be done in this space. I mean, and the thing is that if this community is going to grow, it needs more people to be actively involved in it, in championing the art form or whatever. I think that's the biggest thing. For me as a person who loves story, and Paul, shout out to my partner Paul. Paul is always talking about, one of the things that Paul likes in his comic books is world building. And while I like world building myself, I don't have to necessarily have 100% world building. I can have a story that is almost incomplete, or a story that leaves certain things to my imagination. I think that's just as powerful as having a complete story built or whatever. If you put certain things in a script or in a story arc that you're doing, and the writer or the reader is looking at it and saying, "Hey, what about this? Does that mean this, or does it mean that?" You know what I'm saying? I think that's okay. I was watching a video of they were talking about the story Sons of Anarchy. I don't know if anybody's ever watched the series, the Fox series Sons of Anarchy. And there's elements in Sons of Anarchy where there is this figure that's in the story in different episodes that just kind of pops up. And she's like a homeless woman that's in this story. And she pops up in different episodes throughout this series, right? And some people say, well, this is who she is. She's actually the Grim Reaper, or she's Jesus, or she's this, that, and the third. And this is a debate that fans were having about this particular character. But Kirk Sutter, who did Sons of Anarchy, kind of left it open for people to make their own interpretation. And so sometimes I think that it's okay for writers to leave certain things open to the imagination of the reader, just as long as that reader has enough information to be entertained by the story itself. You don't want too many plot holes, but it's okay. You don't have to hit every hole does not have to be filled. You can actually leave something up to the person's imagination or thought. But that takes time. That takes you being able to study certain writers to be able to pick up on certain things. Education is always, I would say, a plus, but you don't have to have you don't have to have formal training to be a good comic book writer or whatever. And unfortunately, in these day and times, a lot of comic book writers don't have really a background in comics. They have their background in film. They have their background in education. People are coming into this comic book genre or this comic book space without a lot of formal training. Now, we're talking about Black independent comic book writers. That's a little different. You know what I mean by that is that if you're writing our stories, you're telling our stories, you know what I'm saying? Everybody's not going to go to the Dwayne McDuffie school of thought when it comes to writing, though I wish they would. It would make for great stories. But yeah. Nana Ming says, for your information, an underrated movie with well-written Black men characters that aren't canon fodder is The Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare, a nice study on how to write people as people in an action setting. Yeah. Never watched it, but heard it was good. Yeah. What's going on, Eclectic? Yeah. It's like I say, it's a lot of work, guys. It's not going to be overnight. You know what I'm saying? Mr. Keebeline, I want you to continue to try to, sound the alarm or whatever and bring those kind of things up because it's important. And what's important to me may not be important to you, or what's important to you may not be important to me. And sometimes, we're in this space together to bring the best of our worlds together so we can kind of help pollinate, create, and inspire. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. The collective says, you have celebrities like The Weeknd and Charlamagne who get the opportunity to write based on their fame. Yeah, well, the book that Charlamagne did, Brian Edward Hill actually wrote the book. He probably got the idea, that kind of thing or whatever. And I think that was good on Charlamagne's part, particularly for that book, The Illuminati, why try to do this heavy lifting when you got somebody like a Brian Edward Hill who can do the heavy lifting and you can collaborate with him or whatever. Because I think Charlamagne is also doing some other stuff with other writers as well. So yeah. He said, y'all don't have dedicated show once or twice a week for them super hats if you want. Yo, look, I'm just here so I don't get fined, sir. Shout out to the super chat. So look, guys, I'm gonna get on out of here because it's getting late. But I want to thank you guys for hanging out with your boy tonight, man. I really had fun. The subject matter tonight was kind of, heavy, but all love. And again, shout out to everybody that's doing content on you know, in this space. It takes a lot of time, energy, effort. And at the end of the day, I just want us to you know, build and grow from one another, learn from one another. I think that's the one thing I think that there's not enough learning. There are a lot of chiefs, a lot of teachers, or people that want to be teachers, but they don't necessarily want to learn. I'm looking forward to. I want to learn. I want to grow. You know what I'm saying? And I also want to learn from people's mistakes, because a lot of mistakes were made this past week, as far as I'm concerned. But hey, we live, we learn, we grow. We don't judge. We just try to, you know, do better and be better. You know, and you know, whether what side of the fence you stand on in terms of what you like, what you don't like about the comic books and this, that, and the third, it's fine. Like I always like to say, it's comic books. You know, I love comic books, but I love the people more than anything. So for me, that's what's up. So my benediction comes from Ecclesiastes, the 7th chapter, verse number 14. It says, in the day of prosperity, be joyful. But in the day of adversity, consider this. God has made the one as well as the other, so that no one can discover anything that will come after him. From the stronghold that is Black Comic Lords and Black Superheroes Forever, it's your boy Rich. Until next time, we say thanks, peace, love you guys. Ain't nothing you can do about it. We'll see you when we see you. Good night.